This microlecture is the first in a series covering Alan Ivey's basic listening sequence, which includes questions, encouraging, paraphrasing, and summarizing, and observing and reflecting feelings. In this microlecture dedicated to questioning, we focus on opening and sustaining communication. While questioning is often a central piece of an SLP's work, questioning during counseling moments helps gather information, clarify understanding, and encourage reflection, which can lead to deeper engagement and insight. There are three different types of questions. There are closed questions, which elicit specific information with a yes or no or brief response. Open questions, which encourage exploration and elaboration, and reflective questions, which mirror back what the client has said in order to deepen understanding. Closed questions typically encourage clients to provide information, but can tend to leave nowhere to go with the exchange. This can run the risk of needing to continue to ask further and repeated questions and places most of the power with the SLP. That said, if you have a relationship already established with a client, they may provide additional information if you simply ask a closed question. Here are some examples of closed questions. Did you feel sad about that? Is this frustrating? Or are you uncomfortable? There is a place for closed questions, however, especially when working with populations who struggle with expressing themselves clearly. It could be helpful to provide an observation and then ask a closed question, such as, I see you are clenching your fists right now. Is this frustrating for you? Providing a verbalization of what you see and then making an attempt to interpret gives the client space to either validate that you've gotten it right, or to provide additional information, or to encourage you to take another guess. Open questions are great ways to open a session, to delve into a client's emotions, and to encourage deep sharing. Open questions often start with who, what, when, where, and why. As you can imagine, the word you use at the beginning of your question will shape your answer. For instance, asking a what question will often result in the client sharing a fact. For instance, what happened will generate a story about an event or situation. A how question can lead to exploration of feeling or meaning, such as, how did that feel? Or how did they respond? And a why question can result in a response of justification or explanation. Why can often feel confrontational, so consider replacing why with how come. Question openers like could, can, or would are excellent choices to shift some power and choice to the client about whether they share or what they share. And so they are considered the most open of the open questions. Here are some examples that might be helpful during counseling moments. Reflective questions can help clients recognize something not immediately apparent in the situation. In addition, starting a session with a question about strengths can be powerful. For instance, a master voice clinician that I know often begins a session with a question about what successes the client experienced since the previous session. And she primes the client at the end of each session that she's going to want to hear about these successes next time. This helps set up an expectation to create the opportunity for success and then save it up to talk about it next session. Asking questions that can help a client reflect on strengths and supports can also assist with client resilience. For example, asking what was possible this week or between sessions shifts the frame not away from things that are bad or hard, because those may still be present, but toward resourcefulness and empowerment, providing a helpful counterbalance. Likewise, asking a client to reflect on a time when they have been successful at overcoming an obstacle can remind them of their personal resourcefulness and resilience. This week, please explore the use of questions, not for eliciting the communication or the swallow behavior you're treating, but to know your patient better, to hear them more deeply, and through this, to let them know that you understand.